A very good afternoon to you and welcome to today's edition of Joy Business Masterclass. Masterclass is powered by Joy Business and it's brought to us by Goyle. Goyle Good Energy, Goyle Genera Yedia. Masterclass comes your way every Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. and runs through to 2:15 p.m. here on your superstation Joy 99.7. My name, as always, is Yaw Anim Barnafo and I'm glad to be your host for today's edition of Masterclass. It's the beginning of a new month of April, and just last week we ended our celebrations here for Ghana Month here at Multimedia and also here on the show. Though the Ghana Month celebration has ended, we will continue to celebrate our dear nation and the things that we do and in the places that we work and every endeavor that we get ourselves involved in. And this reminds me of a very profound set of words spoken by our very dear own Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who said that, and I quote, "We are not Africans because we were born in Africa. We are Africans because Africa was born in us." And so borrowing from these words, I dare say that we are not Ghanaians because we were born in Ghana. We are Ghanaians because Ghana was born in us. God definitely bless our homeland Ghana and make our nation great and strong. We continue to celebrate Ghana throughout the rest of the year. And so in this month of April, we want to start a new conversation. We went into the field in the month of March talking to our business owners, our startups, to find out what their practical experiences were. For example, if we teach all these principles here in the studio, how does it apply to their businesses and their everyday endeavors? What do you do? I always use this famous example. What do you do when it's getting to the end of the month? You need to pay salaries, the taxman is coming after you, but you've got sales outstanding and your customers are not paying and there's no liquidity. What do you do? We teach the principles, but what do you do when it gets to a practical sense of it? Today we go back into the classroom, and we're going to be starting off with a rather interesting topic, or should I say area of conversation, which permeates all of our conversations across business, and this is a topic of project management. It's so important. It's one of those important conversations that even though we've had it here on the show a couple of years ago, we want to bring it back again because it's one of those things that permeates everything that we do. And while we're on the subject, a very good afternoon to the Project Management Institute of Ghana. Thank you so much for all the work that you're doing and making project management the fore of corporate development. Today, everywhere you go, you find that people are getting involved in certifying for project management, and that is great. Here on the show today, we have a Ghanaian of renown who's also by the way a member of the Project Management Institute of Ghana. Beg your pardon. And he's going to take us through a rather detailed session of conversation for the next 4 weeks on project management and how we can apply all of those conversations to our businesses. Why is it important to understand project management and how it works? What are the learnings that we can take from that conversation on project management and enrich our businesses and make our nation great and strong? Just to remind our listeners also that we're streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on X. So if you're not driving, you're available, please go there and watch us live, and you can be a part of this conversation. Just before I introduced my guest, I went online to find out what are some of the things that people are saying about project management. And this is a saying by Karen Tate, who's an author and business development expert. And she says that trying to manage a project without project management is like trying to play football without a game plan. Trying to manage a project without project management is like trying to play football without a game plan. And that's by Karen Tate. Today on the show, my guest for the conversation this afternoon is a corporate trainer. He's an author. He's also a lecturer at the KNUST. He's certified in project management, both the Prince 2 and the PMP credentials. His CV goes on and on and on. It's one of those CVs that when I grow up, I want to be like him. But he's got expertise in leadership, in oil and gas management, in health and safety, in monitoring and evaluation, in public speaking, in educational neuroscience. I'm interested in that. Help me welcome to the conversation today, Godwin Adu-Afful. Godwin.
Senior.
This is your CV. Yeah. But I'm impressed. I'm impressed when I see Ghanaians, particularly young Ghanaians, like you and I, trying to make a change. And the change comes from the dialogue. If we talk about it long enough and continuously enough, surely it will begin to affect the way we think. And then it will begin to affect the way we work and affect everything we do and bring the change that we want to see. We're going to be talking about project management, and you obliged me a couple of slides. And so he'll be sharing those slides online. For those who are able to join us, please follow those slides so that you can make some notes as well. But in week 1, which is today, we're going to be looking at project management and its importance in today's business.
Yes.
What are we doing in week 2?
Week 2, look at the principles.
Okay.
I'll be giving you basic project management principles. It's a masterclass. So obviously, we need to break it down for people to understand. So
Right.
week 2, we'll be going through the principles, 5 of them. So we'll take the first principle, the principle of understanding.
Right.
Then we'll take the subsequent ones in week 2, week 3, week 4.
Right. So then we'll be sharing test knowledge on project management so that you're able to understand the principles and the strategy of it.
Yeah. So today is about project management, trying to give them the definition, trying to let them know why it's important, why they need it. Then week 2, I need to teach them the ropes. How do they go about it? So I need to give them some information. So that's what we intend to do after we've actually established the foundation.
Precisely. Please take us away. At some point, we will get interactive and you can be a part of the conversation. You can send us your comment or pick up the phone and call us. But otherwise, we're going straight into the classroom. Let's listen to Godwin Adu-Afful.
Thank you very much. All right, great. So we're here to talk about project management. It's one of the things I love talking about. So we'll be going through major topics like definition of project management. We look at importance of project management in today's business. Then we'll go to the basic principles of project management. I've got 5 of them for you. We'll do the principle of understanding, principle of elaboration, then principle of performing. I like that one, that word. I choose it over execution. It pushes you to perform.
When you said performing, I thought execution. Is it the same thing?
Yeah, same thing. So it pushes you to do things. Then we have the principle of gauging and acting. Then the principle of completing and closing. So we'll take our time and explain all these ones.
Right.
Yeah. So today our attention will be on project management and its importance in today's business.
Right.
My main goal basically is to help you appreciate project management and its importance in today's business.
Right.
So we'll be looking at that one. Then we will also, the other goal is helping you understand how to drive project from start to finish. Very, very important. Because once you go through, you need to know how to plan and coordinate and execute a project from start to finish. So if you pay attention, listen to us, in these 4 weeks, you get the understanding. I think free of charge. This is something people pay huge sums of money to join. So you are lucky. Pay attention as we go through this. Now, we need to understand project management. I love to break things down. If somebody asks you, what is project management? You take your time to explain it. You have 2 tokens in there, project and management. So what is project first? Talk to the layman. He will tell you any temporary or anything, any endeavor, work effort that has a start or finish meant to create a specific purpose, that's a project. Layman's view, and it makes super sense. If you listen to him, he said any endeavor that has a start and a finish. So if you take your time, you see these elements in there. Characteristics of project: temporary, start and a finish. Now, if you want to be technical, PMI will tell you project management is a temporary endeavor, not too far away from the layman's definition. Temporary endeavor means it has a start and a finish. Temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. So when you embark on a project, you could basically come up with a product. It could be a service, could be a result. But we are saying is unique. Remember, it has been qualified. Things that flow from project, they are unique. Project itself is unique. Because if we were supposed to have this same meeting, this session, it wouldn't be the same. The time that we started wouldn't be the same. How you started, you can't give me the same statement. The phrase that you used wouldn't be the same. So how I also started wouldn't be the same. So every project is basically unique. That's project. Now, question is, what project do you see around? This session is a project. It has a start and a finish. There's an objective to achieve. What project do you see in your organization? If you think, there are a lot of projects. Think about the wedding that you organized. Project has a start and a finish. Think about the wedding, the party you throw every year. These are projects. In your organization, the meetings, the report you're supposed to deliver to the customer on a monthly basis.
The annual general meetings.
Meetings. the research you embarked on, the marketing campaigns, even elections. So projects are everywhere. We now call it project economy, the rise of project economy. Projects are everywhere. And that is something that we'll be talking about. Now, what is management? We understand project. Now, do we understand management? What is management? Management, if you look it up, the Italians would tell you it's from this word, mana, giari, means to handle. Latin, manus, means hunt. So if you think about this, the layman will tell you, picking these ones. Oh, so if I have a project, it means I trying to handle a temporary endeavor to achieve more objectives. It makes sense.
It makes it clearer.
Yes. Handle here means to deal with something effectively. Can you handle me? Can you handle it? It means, can you deal with me effectively? So if you are managing a project, can you handle it effectively? That's a layman's view, and it makes sense to me. Now, if you go technical, PMI will tell you project management is application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities in order to achieve your project requirement. Not too far away from the layman's.
Exactly. Let's just bring in a bit more detail.
Yes. So layman says, I need to be able to handle the project in order to achieve more objectives. How do I go about it? PMI says you need skills. You need knowledge. You need tools and techniques. You apply these to your activities in order to achieve your project requirement. So it makes super sense. Once you have a project, you need knowledge. Question is, the project that we see in our organizations, have you got the knowledge to manage them? I like the code that you shared with us. Once it's a project, it has to be managed by project management.
Exactly.
So we run lots of projects, but they go amiss, they go wrong because we don't understand how to manage it. And that's why we're here to talk about
I think I can't help thinking that the reason why there's been such a proliferation of the project management training and certification across industry in the last 4 or 5 years is simply because, like you said, we're involved in projects, or projects are thrust upon us in every endeavor of our lives without the necessary preparation. So if it's a temporary endeavor, has a start and a finish. Almost everything is a project, really, if you look at it.
practically.
Almost everything is a project. And you've got people managing these things. I'm ordering parts from wherever, spare parts from Germany.
Germany or China.
From the beginning of the process to when the goods arrive in my shop. That is a project.
That's a project. Yes, so you need to go through the whole process. Think about it. That's why I said we'll be talking about the principles. What principles do you use? Basic principles. How do I get started? What do I do in the middle? What do I do in the end?
In the end.
So you think about these ones, and that's what we'll bring to them from next week.
Brilliant.
But today we want to talk about why it's important. Now, you mentioned something. Look at the operations like a bank. They handle operations. Operations are the repetitive things that we do. They don't end. They are permanent, semi-permanent. Projects are temporary. So a bank doesn't know when it will end. It makes it an operation. So operation-based environment. But they still embark on project. Look at what some of these smart organizations do. Now I'm bringing the awareness to consciousness to that. They, even though they manage operations, this is what they do. Every year, they define exactly what they have to do. Multimedia, so your space, every year you will have a meeting. The managers will start thinking about what to do within the year. Develop budget for that. So there's a timeline. Once you box it, it becomes a project. So this is a clear-cut project. To pull it off, you need project management. So some people will struggle when they don't really understand project management. So it's becoming vitally important for all of us to understand project management. There are different types of project. We have industrial project, we have management project, we have research. We have the research is more of pure scientific research. We have manufacturing. I engage more in manufacturing project. I've done construction project as well, though, because I have a manufacturing company. Now, nobody can run away from management project. So that proves the point that everybody needs project management. Look at the market survey you conducted. Could you call this industrial project? No. This pure management project.
Yeah.
But did you have project management skills to pull it off?
No, you just relied on some knowledge you had from school and common sense and logic.
Common sense. So there's a new discipline for me. It's not document. We call it the discipline of common sense. If you answer. So yes, I have a temporary endeavor. I want to build my own house. I use a financer to build. No plans. I just go to the site. But if you take your time and look into that, we spend more.
We flounder, we spend more, we waste time.
We waste time and all that.
We don't train properly in the process.
Yes. So it's a discipline. It's something that we need to learn and know how to do these ones. And we'll be bringing you we'll be telling you why you need it within the organization. Now, if you asked me to give you an elevator pitch answer, why is project management important in today's business? One word: survival.
That makes sense.
And I started thinking about this. Then I looked into research. What is research talking about? Then I read a book from Pinto Jeffrey. He said, project management is what you need to survive and thrive in today's business. So this is not me talking. This is research knocking on your door. Then a guru called Tom Peters, he's a management guru. He said this: it would take project rather than operations to drive value. Then quite recently, there was a research from Harvard. They have something called Harvard Business Review. They've done one on project management. So Harvard Business Review Project Management Handbook. If you go into that one, they are telling you, if you want to create value, if you want to change, if you want to grow, if you want to expand, if you want to survive, thrive, you need project as opposed to operations. So we use operations to run businesses. We use projects to grow.
Say that again for me. Say it slowly.
We use operations to run the business. Operations maintain the status quo. Projects, they challenge the status quo. So to grow, to come out of your box, you need projects. Now, let me say these one. I listened to one wise man. He said these statement. I think they are very profound. Let's take a listen. He said this: Apple did not collapse BlackBerry. Lack of innovation did.
Yes, I can relate to that.
He added, Google didn't kill Yahoo. Poor strategy did. You have the USD. It didn't kill the CDs. Lack of or inconvenience did. So if you take your time, people are looking for easy ways to do things. They want things that could make life easy for them. Convenience. So question is, are you making life easy for your customers? If you are not, somebody who understands project management could beat you to it.
And you see, it's a very important point you make. People call it competition, they call it whatever, but it comes back to innovation. And like you're saying, now we don't sell products, we don't sell solutions, we sell convenience. I just leave it there. Yeah. But what we sell is convenience.
That's it.
And if it's inconvenient to me, I won't look at it again.
That's it. And in project we tie this one to what we refer to as value, benefit. What am I getting? So now we don't focus on output. Output is what you churn out after the project, but what is coming out of the output. So we use the principle, project management principle from PMI. It says focus on value. I call it the rule of value. When you start, right from the beginning, you need to focus on value. It's not just about the output. So example would be the classroom block. We want to build a classroom block for the community. We choose a location far away from the community, society. It's done, nicely done, on time.
In budget.
Quality, yes, within budget, super. But people can't access it. Why? Because it's too far away. Kids don't want to go. So question is, we have a good output, but what is coming out of it?
What value creation?
Yes. No output. No outcome, sorry. So no value, no impact. End of the day becomes a white elephant.
Yeah.
So right from the beginning, if you are planning, you think of value. And project management will teach you these things. That is why if you don't have it, you have a problem. You'll be left behind the curve. Research, I'll be throwing more research at you, talking about it. So survival, you can't survive without project management. Now let's unpack it. I've already talked about what Pinto said. Project management is what modern organizations need to survive and thrive in today's fast-paced, competitive market. I'll take my time to unpack it. Tom Peters also said same. Harvard gurus, they also repeated it. Now let's take our time and break it down. You want to compete, like you said. How do you do it? You've got project to help you come up with product. Now remember, you need to drive with speed. I call it the VAX factor. VAX, VAQQS. Value, affordability, quality, quantity, speed. When I got this, my life changed. Because in my space, I told you I do I manufacture pallet and furniture. When I started thinking of value, so the product, does it give value to my customers? Does it hold some benefit? Affordability, is it affordable? Not cheap, not the same. So is it affordable?
I'd like you to dwell on that for me. At some point when we get interactive, people seem to think that affordability.
No.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yes, I know. Cheap things are not good.
Exactly.
But we can't generalize it. But usually cheap things are not good. So I run away from cheap things. If I know it costs around 20,000, telling me you give it to me 20 cedis. That's too cheap.
Somebody said anything that sounds too good to be true probably is.
There's got a gimmick in there. There's a catch somewhere. So you need to be very careful. So we need to drive with speed. And it changed my life. I started delivering product of value. Affordable product, quality product. I used project management to do more high volumes. And I drove it with speed. Now, even with quality, we talked about dimensions of quality. Speed is in there. You need to match quality with speed. Look at this. The guy needs it, and you have to deliver within 2 weeks. You take your time and do the right job. You get it to him within 3 weeks. Maybe he needed it to achieve something, some objectives.
It was part of a process flow.
Yes, process. So you've delayed it. It's gone. It might not be needed again.
Yeah.
So to compete, you need project management. It takes project management to drive all these ones. Back in the day, if you looked into the competitive model, one could choose only one to stay competitive. So I could go with time. Yeah, I would want to go with time all the time. One could go with low cost. So my products are affordable. One could go with quality. Mine, when it comes to me, I give quality. But these days, you can't choose one. To thrive and survive, you need to juggle the four. You need to be looking at value, affordability, quality, looking at speed. That is a toughie. That's a stamper. It's difficult. It's a difficult proposition.
It puts you ahead of the game.
Yes. And to do this, you need project management. Have you thought about how Samsung and Apple, likes of Ericsson, Facebook, how come they are industry leaders? If you look into this, one major pillar in there is project management. They foreground project. They play up project management. They take it seriously. So they keep honing their project management competencies. There's a term called organizational ambidexterity. So ambidextrous now. So not just one-handed. Using both hands. Even using your legs as well. So you throw everything
You're keeping your eye on many things at the same time.
Yes.
So there's a concurrent development.
Great. So
that brings you phenomenal output.
Super.
Yeah.
So ambidexterity, you are looking at two things, exploration and exploitation. So you start thinking about the skills I already have. So what skills do we have? My people, my resources. What skills do they have? I need to maximize and optimize it. BBFM.
Yeah.
The next thing is, what can we also bring in to help us grow?
Exactly.
Because we need to develop a system for value delivery. What is missing? What skills do they need more? and organizations are looking into that. When I get into the research and the statistics, you understand this, are looking into bringing more skills. And the skills they think of is more of project management.
Right.
So I spoke to a guy who was going for an interview, and I said this to him, when you go, play up your project management skills. And he asked why. I said, organizations, they've got challenges. They are looking for ways to stay within budget, looking for ways to deliver quality product, reduce the rework, achieve customer satisfaction. This is what project management does.
It almost looks like an impossible uphill task for them.
So if you can go in and tell them you could basically do these things for them, help them manage these areas, they'll ask you why, and you tell them because you've got project management skills. This is what it does. These are the benefits of project management, and that is what I've got. I'm telling you, you'll be the ideal candidate.
And for me, it's a clear example of what we're dealing with today, in the sense that you would then be using your project management expertise relating directly to a business, or let's say a company you're interviewing for, whose business you are going to improve, because you applied it relationally. And that's what we're talking about today.
Yes.
I mean, it just makes so much sense.
Yeah. So it's becoming super important, and people are even telling us that the pace of the project economy has just gotten started. It's just warming up. It will accelerate. So if you don't have it, let me repeat, if you don't have project management, you'll be left behind the curve. Research from McKinsey & Co. They said this, 60%, that's the findings, what they actually found out. 60% of senior executives are looking to project management competency as they look into the future. So for them, it's a top 3 priority. Now let's go to the individuals. What does this one tell you? It means if you have project management, it's likely to open a door for you.
Indeed.
And there was a research from PMI to back it up. In 2017, PMI said between 2017 and 2027, about 2.2 million project-oriented jobs will be created on an annualized basis every year.
That's a lot of jobs.
Why is this happening? Because organizations are running to projects as a means to grow, to survive. And they need project management. So now they need people with project management skills. If you talk to IBM, they will tell you they don't now look at job description, they look at project description.
Wow. The dynamics are changing already.
Because everybody is involved in project.
Right.
So what is your role there?
Right.
So that is how they try to define things in there. And they are training people all the time. In my organization, I have something called Competentia Month. We do it twice every year. So that year, Project Competentia Month, that year, we will read Project Man every blessed day. So we start by listing all up. So I think some of the organization could take a clue from this, take a cue from this. We list all our problems. Then we start looking for answers. So we read project management. How can project management help us
to deal with those problems?
Do these ones? Then everybody has to read it every blessed day. Then we have a platform. You share your thought. So there's a challenge. What did you read? What challenge is it? Are you targeting? How can you solve it now? So we all discuss. Now when we do it, end of the month, we grow.
You will grow because you're focusing on it. You're looking for a solution.
Every day for 30 days. Somebody even said when you can go at something 80 minutes every day for 365 days, you become an expert. Natural expert.
Yeah.
So if you do this every month, we do it again somewhere around August, I'm turning them into expert. So that is building my organization and with dexterity, improving it. I'm exploiting, I'm exploring.
Yeah.
In the area of project management. It's
Wow.
super. It's super, and there's a lot to tell in that area. We will do more. We could look into change, the change-driven world. So there's a world of 3 C's. I call it the world of 6 C's, but I'll trim it down to the world of 3 C's. Change, competition, complexity. Now look at change. We talked about competition, so let's look at change. Things are changing.
Let's do that briefly, and then we'll get our listeners to also be a part. I'm getting excited about all the information that we're sharing, but let's do the change briefly, if we will, in a few seconds, and then we can sort of get our listeners to be a part of the conversation.
So let's look at change. Things are changing all the time. Now I looked this one up. How old is the world? This is what I found. It's 4.54 times 10 to the power 9 years old. Make it simple. It's 4.5 billion years old.
Yeah.
So we are tired of old things. Lots of water flown under the bridge. So we want to see new things. I call it the next big crave. We all want to see new things all the time. So organizations, they want to create new things to satisfy the thirst of the consumer.
Course.
So you need to be innovative. You need to have an innovative mindset. You need to be creative. You need to
innovate or you die.
Or you die. You need to adapt or left behind the curve. So we need to come up. That's what happened to BlackBerry. You need to come up with new things, new ways of doing things all the time.
Yeah.
That's why the Samsung, the Apple, I said it, the Ericsson, the Facebook, that's why they are ahead of the curve. That's how come China is one of the countries that could manage projects better than any other country. They're always ahead of you.
They're making such.
So when you are thinking of 4G, they are thinking of 5G. When you go 5G, they are thinking of 6G, always a step ahead.
Ahead of the competition.
Using project management. So it's been with us since the dawn of time. If you go to China, years ago, they've been doing this all the time. If you even go to the Bible, in the Bible, there were projects that would be managed. How did they manage it? They use project management.
Project management.
So it's been with us.
Yeah.
So you can't change without project. And you can't manage projects successfully without project management. So you need these changes to come in. How did multimedia grow? Maybe it started with one station. They had to grow, so they opened branches. These were projects. They managed them. Always bringing other things in. MTN, look at them. How are they surviving? How come they are ahead of everybody? I'll tell you the secret. It's project management. Now, if you go in there, they hone their ambidexterity, especially in the area of project management. So when you go for PMI National Conference, you see MTN there every year. They bring a lot of people to come and learn. They are pushing their people to become project management professionals.
Right.
They have PMO in there.
I'm excited. I mean, we're sharing so much information. If you've just tuned in, this is Masterclass here on your Superstation Joy 99.7. We're here in the studio with Godwin Adu-Afful, sharing some really, really mind-boggling thoughts with us on project management and how we can apply that whole process to our businesses today. Really exciting thoughts. We'll take a quick message from our sponsors. When we get back, we get interactive.
Your favorite on-air business development program, Joy Business Masterclass, is in session, and you can interact with us on Facebook via the Joy 99.7 FM or Joy Business pages. If you tweet, the handle is at Joy 997 FM or at Joy Business GH. Don't forget to hashtag JB Masterclass. You can also call us on 0302 216541 or send your questions and contributions through to the WhatsApp number 0551 111997, and our facilitators will address your concerns. Attention everyone, class is in progress.
Welcome back. If you've just tuned in, this is Masterclass. We're interactive right now. Numbers to call 0302 216 541. That's 0302 216 541. You can also send us your comments on 055 1111997. If you're driving, please do not text while you drive, because we want you to arrive alive. But otherwise, pick up that phone, give us a call, 0302 0302, I beg your pardon, 216 541. You can send us your comments on 055 1111997. We're here in the studio with Godwin Adu-Afful, who's a corporate trainer, author, and lecturer at KNUST, and he's sharing some thoughts with us on project management and its importance to business. Clearly, from the information we're sharing here, a lot of us are going at projects without knowing that they're projects, number one. A lot of us are spending too much time. A lot of us are spending too much money. The reason why we're doing things and they're going out of budget than what we planned is because we're not planning them properly as projects. Simple things like building a wall around your property. Simple things like importing spare parts for your project. Simple things like planning your strategy for the year. All of these are projects because the umbrella definition is anything that's temporary that has a start and an end. And of course, when you go into the detail, then you begin to apply your skills and specific detail to it. But otherwise, we're all involved in projects somehow. What projects are you involved in? How are you managing it? What challenges have you had? Pick up that phone. Let's have a conversation here today on the show. 0302216541. Send us your comments on 055-1111-997. We say that life is too short to make all the mistakes yourself, so let's learn together. Just also remind us that the show today is brought to us by Goyle. Good Energy, Goyle, Yenara, Yedia. Good Energy brings you Goyle Super XP, the ideal choice for most vehicles. It's flowing Wawa at many Goyle stations in the country. Just go fuel up your vehicle and enjoy the smooth ride with all the benefits. Goyle Super XP is quality and gives you the correct choice when buying regular fuel. Goyle Super XP is fortified with a special additive that gives longevity to your engine, makes your engine perform to the max, using minimal fuel, and it's suitable for most vehicles. As you journey the road, look out for Goyle stations with a Goyle Super XP sign and go fuel up. Goyle, good energy. Goyle, Yenara, Yedia. Phone lines are open. Please pick up that phone. Give us a call. Godwin, while we wait for those phone lines to ring, I mean, I'm pretty excited about the foundation we're laying for the conversation for the next 3 weeks or 4 weeks, including today. And I like that you spoke about change.
Yeah.
Because change is one of those things. I mean, again, I watched a video, I've forgotten who it was, but he said that one of the key things about history is that men never learn from history. And so it brings me to the word change. Even change in itself, to implement change or to go through change or to survive change, project management is required, which is what you just showed us. Yeah. So I'm just excited about those thoughts. And you were going to share some statistics with us in terms of research. Yeah. Let's go straight into that.
Yeah, so these are some of the statistics and some research that I actually did. I looked this one up, and I've already talked about 80% of global executives. Mm-hmm. This was a research conducted by PMI 2010, Value of Project Management. Mm-hmm. 80% of global executives believed having project management as a core competency helped them remain competitive during the recession. Mm-hmm. So during the downtime, recession. Mm-hmm. So they went around what made them stay relevant and competitive. Mm-hmm. They said it was project management. 80% of the senior executives. Mm. That is huge.
Of course.
Then McKinsey and Co., they are global consulting giant. They also, I've talked about the 60% of senior executive believed building a strong project management discipline is a top 3 priority for their companies as they look into the future. So when I said there's an opportunity there. Mm-hmm. And I tied that one with research from PMI. Yeah. 2.2 million jobs every year, project-oriented jobs every year. And there's another one from Microsoft. Mm-hmm. They use LinkedIn Economic Graph. Mm-hmm. They review that top 10 in-demand jobs. Mm-hmm. One of them is basically project manager.
I'm not surprised.
Top 10 project manager job. So if you are looking for an area, I'll recommend project management. So I'm not surprised at KNUST, our numbers are growing. Mm. Every year it grows. People are seeing that.
Because the awareness is now being created.
It's being created. Organizations are being aware now, and they are asking for that scale. Mm. So the PMI, they call it a talent gap. So it means there's a big gap.
Right.
If you look at what organizations need in that area, project management space, and what people have got, there's a big gap. So you could take an advantage.
But, I'm just going to say here on the show that, whenever we learn here on the show, we say that, number one, we bring it to you pro bono, and number two, we want to help your businesses to grow. So what we're saying here on the show today is that back in the day, about 10, 15 years ago, we'll say that project management is for the project management department, it's for the IT project management people. Yeah. But we're learning here that even if you're in finance, that audit is a project.
It's a project, yeah.
That cash count is a project. Yeah. That tax review is a project.
We call it
the annual general meeting is a project.
Yes, everything has been project.
If you're in HR, the issuance of those payroll system, that's a project.
Super.
If you're managing pensions, that's a project. Literally, everywhere you are in the organization, you're managing one project or the other.
If you can, that's a good point. If you can all handle it as a project and deal with it properly.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, we have value being created.
And it even helps with interdepartmental cohesion. Because I understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And because I understand it, and I would have done the same thing, I'm able to support you properly because I'm in the position to appreciate what you're doing. And so clearly what we're saying here is that we're recommending that going forward in our training budgets, in our strategies, in our plan, let's begin to look at project management not as a specialization, but as a prerequisite across the board, regardless of what your functional or technical competences. Would that be a correct thing to say?
That's super. You're right on the button. That is why the research talks about that gap. And listen to these organizations, they now need people with project management skills.
Yeah.
So you could have a specialization in one area, but you need that complementary project management skills, like you said, to make you whole.
Exactly.
So I would say this, I stand corrected, but I believe in it. Without project management, you are not whole.
But it would make sense, because isn't that the reason why sometimes, even when we come to entrepreneurship for individual entrepreneurs and all of that, isn't that why sometimes we find that we're spending too much, or we go and bring the goods and it doesn't go as quickly as we expected it to go, or by the time we get back, prices have changed and people can't afford it. The project management process helps you to anticipate all of these things, and in times when things take you by surprise, it teaches and prescribes what you should do.
Yeah. So that's what we'll be talking about next week, looking at the principles.
Exactly.
We'll go through these ones. The principle understand, you need to understand before you get started. I'll give you a practical example. My space, I have other carpenters. They also do pallet. When I started, I was just a young boy. I then learned project management. I brought that one in. Within few years, I became a leader in there. So that's how come when I talk about the importance of project management, I speak to it passionately. I know what it does. COVID, I keep saying that COVID kicked some of the organizations out of business.
A lot of organizations
for me,
went under during COVID.
Was a blessing. COVID was a blessing.
Because it was a catalyst for many new businesses also.
Yes. Some people were going out. I was doubling down. So I know project management is super. And that's how come I always want to make it practical. So we had to think about new branches to open up, because we understood how devastation things could get at some point. I had to learn how to get people to work from home, virtual teams, build virtual teams. Now I don't have office again. I had an office in Kumasi, office in Accra. I was sharing an office with my brother. I don't. We work from home, virtual, and we've done it for almost 3 years.
And it works.
We are good, sir. We are good. But you need to know how to go about it. You need to know how to go about it.
Right.
It takes some skill. You need to know how to go about it. And it reduces your cost.
Overheads.
So more money to the pocket of my people. They are happy.
Yeah. You're not paying rent.
Something
you're not paying
autonomy. Yes, autonomy, self-sufficiency. I give them deadlines. I don't manage your time. But end of the day, it has to be delivered.
Yeah.
They understand that language. I trained KPMG, and that's what I learned from them. They have autonomy. You need to push the deadline. It doesn't matter where you work from. But bottom line is the deadline has to be achieved. And I also learned something about leadership. So everybody's a leader. If you go in there, everybody's a leader.
Right.
And which we'll be talking about as we go. So project management, if you don't have it, you are not whole.
But there was something that even came up. We're talking about, we're having a conversation. I was leading a conversation, I think about 3 years ago, a panel discussion on corporate governance. And that was when this whole work from home thing had started. And the big challenge was, how do you get people to work from home and not skive and actually deliver? And that's where the performance-driven approach came in, because it's also something that we're not, or should I say, we were not too used to in this part of the world. So people come to work for 8 hours, and the value of work they do is 2.5 hours, and they skive for the rest of the time. They're waiting to go home. They go for lunch for 2 hours. They're sitting and staring at the computer for X number of hours. Some actually dare to play computer games on because no one is watching. Now, if it's target-driven, do you find that sometimes during COVID, you start working from 7? You're still in the traffic. You're in meetings already. And you're working as late as 8, 9, because I don't care where you're working from.
Yeah.
I don't care what's going on. I'll set you up. I'll give you the connection, but you just got to deliver.
That's it. So it changes the mindset. So that we've learned a lot from COVID. I created a worksheet called Stolo to help people manage their work. And in my organization, we use a Stolo to help us manage our work.
Right.
And it's target driven. So this is what you do. Every blessed day, you need to list what you have to do. Call it your schedule, S in there. Then go through your schedule. Let's know the critical ones. The ones that you can't push to tomorrow. These are your targets. So T, target. You rewrite it. Then you look at it again and see what could stand in your way. What could also be the opportunity. So we call it O, obstacle or opportunity. Then as you go, you learn your lessons. That's the L. Then end of the day, you go through your Stolo and check what you were supposed to do. What did you do? Especially the target. If you're not able to achieve some target, what happened? You learn a lesson. Then you go through what are the outstanding work. So you get the day, your next day started even though you are not there. So
you don't make the same mistake twice.
Yes, so you learn your lesson and you use that to improve your schedule the next day. And this is helping my workers. This is application of project management.
It is indeed. I mean, I'm excited about the content we're going to share in the coming weeks. Let's just sort of bring our conversation to a close today. 2 things I want you to do. I want you to speak to entrepreneurs directly, just, a takeout from what we've discussed today that they could apply to their businesses.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the other thing is that if we remember nothing from today, what should we remember?
Great.
Yeah.
So I'll start with one thing you need to remember. You need project management to survive in today's business. So without project management, you are not whole. Your organizations can't survive. You will be left behind the curve. So it's about time we started looking into project management. And I'm an entrepreneur as well. I know what is done for me. In the industry of manufacturing, space of manufacturing, I use project management to become a leader. Managing product, quality product on time, driving with speed. Doing this, you need project management. So you can do same. You can become competitive in your space if you take your time and hone your project management competency. You might be old, doesn't matter. Get a team, the right team. Make sure you give them project management skills. Or you could bring in a trainer to train them in the area of project management. Hold them to account. Push it. Also have a fair idea so that you can actually direct. If you can do that, I'm telling you, your business will grow because you have your eye on the ball all the time. Project management is modeled on common sense. But if you understand it, it makes you do it better. So in our subsequent series, what we'll be talking about is how, teaching them the ropes, how to go about it.
Right.
But remember this one, you need project management to survive. It's going to get tough. Things are going to get complex. Changes are going to come. But to stay in there and stay ahead of the curve, it will call for project management competency, and you need it.
Wow, some very insightful thoughts there. Things are going to change. Things are going to get complex. So you need project management regardless of whatever endeavor you're involved in. This has been project management, and it's important to today's business here on Masterclass. And we spent time here in the studio with Godwin Adu-Afful, who's a corporate trainer and author and lecturer. God willing, next week and the weeks after that, he will also be here with us in the studio to teach us into detail some of the things we need to know about project management and how we can apply the same to our businesses. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you same time next week.